My aunt told me that there were a couple of things that happened there, which I thought, it was probably like coincidence or something like that. She told me as soon as they came, actually, she was like, oh, I think somebody came in the house and tried to break in. And I was like, what happened? She goes, oh, because I was like sleeping around 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, and I'm like, like on my subconscious, I had like an alarm clock or something like that while I was having a nightmare. I was like, okay. She goes, yeah, and it looks like I woke up while the alarm clock, while the alarm from the house started going off. And then it usually takes 30 seconds for the first alarm, and then the second one takes 7 seconds after. So, my aunt woke up like really quick and told my uncle to go downstairs. They have their room in the attic, and we have the basement, the first floor, the second floor, in the attic, So he goes downstairs running like crazy all the way to the basement, and there was nothing besides the fact that the door was open. So she told me that there's 2 doors. The first one is like made out of glass or something like that, and that's to keep the wind out. And the second one is, the regular door. So anyways, the thing is that they started arguing because one of them didn't put the lock and whatever. Anyways, so she thought it was that, and that was like 2 weeks ago on a Sunday. Then on a Tuesday, my aunt was making my cousin go to sleep. My cousin's 1 year old, and so he was like, nobody was in the house besides her and him. They were in his room, and on top of his crib, he has the mobile and whatever that moves around that makes sounds or whatever for him to go to sleep. They attached the monitor. The monitor, it has the switches, like the switches on and off, like that. Anyways, she said that she turned it on the whole night, and it wasn't. Well, she heard the sound in the same room go, and she just like went crazy because nobody was in the house. It can't be like somebody put like halfway in, and then you could hear, it just happened by mistake or something. It can't be nobody was in the house. So then when she told me about, there probably could be some spirit or somebody like saying goodbye to her, because it happened before where, one of our aunts, passed away, but she came before she died or something like that. So she was like, it's probably one of them. Somebody probably died, one of my friends. She called her friends that had cancer, both of them, and they said that no, that nothing was okay. So nothing happened. So at night yesterday, we was downstairs in the first floor, and my cousin's room is in the second floor. Oh, talking about it makes me have goosebumps. So he was in the second floor and we was downstairs, and we was talking about it. We had the monitor on, and he was upstairs. My uncle, everybody was downstairs, and he was upstairs sleeping, and nobody was upstairs with him. The next thing we're like, oh, what could make this happen? And I don't think it's a ghost or some spirit or whatever. It's probably like somebody trying to break in, because we was also talking about all the people that, that neighborhood is by the beach house, and it's private, and I don't know why in the world would somebody come. And anyways, so the next thing you hear is something like dragging, like some kind of furniture dragging, and I'm here like, I turned around, I'm like, do you hear that? I didn't want to scare my aunt anymore. So as soon as that happened, you see my cousin, my little baby cousin, 1 year old, waking up. He barely talks. He's mumbling to something, And then he starts crying hysterical. We took him. We go to another room. And that night, usually, since he was a baby, he can't sleep. He usually wakes up at 3:30 in the morning. 3:33 in the morning to be exact. And so, whatever. We thought it was like whatever. But then we go upstairs in the attic because that's where my aunt and everybody and my uncle, they sleep there. And then we put the baby there, and we even like put the playpen and everything so he could sleep there. And so we put him to sleep. And after he fell asleep, my uncle went all the way to the basement. The attic, I mean the floor below the attic is the second floor. So around like 11 o'clock or something, like mind you, nobody's in the house besides my aunt, me, my little cousin in the attic, and my uncle is all the way in the basement. So he can never even hear anything. We hear like in the second floor, here it is. And I went like this. I was like, WTF? And my aunt was like, what the hell was that? So she gets up and she tries to, you know, like look around. And since she didn't find anything, like to see what it was, nothing was on the floor. And then, what's it called? I'm scared. No, I'm just joking. And you know, my uncle, you know, my uncle said before that if anything happens, you know, chirp her up or something. So that's what she did. And she asked them, oh, were you in the second floor? He said, no. And so we just got, and after that, the baby woke up. The baby kept on waking up the whole night. The poor baby woke up at 3:31 today. In the morning. And he woke up, like, pointing at something. But usually you know how babies wake up? They wake up, but they wake up, like, crying normally. He woke up crying hysterical. Like, if somebody's killing him, doing something to him, I'm not going. So the thing is that now, I told my brother, Dad, as soon as I came home, and he goes, oh, I think the house is haunted. I was like, what do you mean? He goes, oh, because the faucet kept on, like, turning on by itself at night, like, around 2 o'clock in the morning. And nobody was home. Nobody was there. But, my aunt even told me to bring holy water from church, which I'm gonna do tomorrow. And, I don't know, at the beginning I thought it was her, like, you know. But now it's like, since I encountered it, especially when you know, the time that my little cousin woke up on his crib, and it was, you know, something moved the furniture. I actually went inside the room by myself. I didn't want to tell my aunt about it because I didn't want to freak her out more than she was. And I looked around the room to whatever could have moved, dragging like that, and it was the rocking chair. But that rocking chair it's stuck on the floor because it has like metal things around it that doesn't let it move, and it's hard to drag it. So when somebody had to drag it really bad, and it actually, when I try to drag it that way, it actually, like, it sounded the same way that it was dragged before when we was in the first floor. So that's when I got scared. But then that thought, when, you know, something fell on the second floor, I was just like, WTF. But guys, yeah, comment below because this is kind of creepy.